record all the other statements. Mr. Delahunt.
Yes, I thank the chair. And I too would echo the sentiments that you expressed regarding the comments of the former chair, Mr. Sessenbrenner. But I would note that the argument that we're hearing in terms of this institution is the possibility or the potential to establish a bad precedent in terms of the powers of this committee and the U.S. Congress in terms of its relationship with the executive branch. It's as if we ought to be afraid of losing. Well, the reality is, during the course of this administration, since January of 2001, we've abdicated, if you will, many of our prerogatives to the executive. We have been losing, and we have an administration that has developed stonewalling into a fine art. One would only have to inquire of Mr. Sessenbrenner his difficulties in terms of dealing with the Department of Justice in terms of securing information. It was extraordinarily difficult, and it was unsatisfactory when Republicans controlled this particular committee. I was invited to participate by the former chairman of the Government Reform Committee, Dan Burton, in an investigation into misconduct of the FBI office in Boston. The only way that that committee, under his leadership, had the ability to compel cooperation was to threaten a contempt of the then White Counsel and the Attorney General. This is not new, my friend. This has been the pattern of conduct by this administration. This administration does not appreciate the relationship between the branches in a constitutional sense. And it's time that Congress assert itself. After today, are there opportunities for further discussion? Of course there are. We're not foreclosing those options, and I think that's what I heard the chairman say in response to Mr. Sessenbrenner. And there will be continuing conversations and discussions, hopefully. But not to proceed today would be a mistake. It is that moment in time for this institution, this Congress, to assert itself against an administration that has expanded executive power to a point where I would suggest it's become dangerous to our democracy. And I yield back.
The chair now
Yield.